We're going to try to do this in one take because I hate editing. So I wanted to do this video because this is something that trips up a lot of artists, a lot. And it's a hurdle that I go through no matter how many times I've seen it work out. It still sucks. And it still fills you full of self-doubt and leads to a lot of artists tossing paintings or overworking something that really shouldn't be overworking, ruining canvases that probably would have turned out awesome, you know? Because this is something that it's a mental thing. That ugly phase. Like every painting I've ever made goes through a phase where I honestly think I ruined it. And you'll have that too. Every painting goes through a phase where, I mean, the layers are thin, they're muddy, they're awkward, streaky, unfinished. It just looks like doo-doo. Every painting goes through a phase where it's just really gross and ugly. Brush strokes are wrong, colors fight each other, the whole thing feels just balls. I mean, it looks terrible. And every painting has that ugly phase. Some ugly phases last way longer than others. But the bigger the painting, the more involved the painting, the more involved the underpainting, it's going to look ugly longer. And it's something that really messes with me because it goes through this phase where I honestly think I ruined it. And I kind of forget the fact that every time I say, oh, I don't know about this painting, I don't know about this one, it ends up working. It ends up being some of the best stuff. I mean, even after years of painting, that phase still really jacks up my confidence. But I started realizing, because you have to, the ugly phase is not a sign of something broken. It's just a part of becoming. And there are parts of every painting where it's just like, oh, this looks awful. It needs more layers. You have to move some paint around and carve around edges and figure out things, and you make mistakes. It just, every painting goes through this phase where it's just nasty looking. And I'm dealing with one right now, and the canvas is huge. It's huge. So I'm looking at this big mess. And I know I've fixed things like that before. So that's why I'm pushing through. But it does mess with you. I don't care how long you've been doing it. It messes with you. Because it's just this giant canvas that just looks atrocious. I could see every brush stroke, and there's chunks in the paint. I mean, it's terrible. But a finished painting is usually, and this video is obviously for you, but it's also for me too, because it helps to put this stuff into words and realize that it's not what it feels like it is. And it's a pep talk to kind of me too, but it's something I think a lot of artists need to hear. A finished painting is usually the result of many awkward, unfinished stages. I think your ability as a painter seriously is like, honestly, 20% talent. It's an 80-20 thing. I really do think it's 20% skill, 20% talent, and it's 80% learning how to screw up and fix it. Like, seriously, 80% of making a good piece of art is learning how to fix happy accidents and downright, like, painting ending problems. I think that's what makes a painting, that's what makes you a better painter, is learning how to recover from disasters. I think 20% of it is just the raw talent. And the more you paint, the more you learn how to deal with certain disasters and problems that come up. It's about fixing. It's not really about painting, I think. Early layers are weak. They're transparent, especially with acrylics. Structurally unstable. You don't have the colors down yet. How I work is I do I know this is like backwards from how everybody else works, but I do a completely opaque underpainting. Like, no watering it down, no diluting at all. Completely opaque underpainting. And then I work from thinnest back to opaque for the following layers. So I'll thin out the paint almost to water. And then I'll work dark to light, thin to back to opaque. And the early layers will look like poop and things bleed into each other accidentally. And the problem that I have that still messes with me is that the underpainting is what I used to consider the finished work. I didn't know anything about different layers or how to work with transparency, how to work with washes, how to build up a painting. I didn't know anything about that until probably this past year. I consider the underpainting the finished one, and you got to get really lucky to have something that looks finished that's basically just an underpainting now. So I think that messed with my head. Backgrounds invade foregrounds, proportions drift, edges are messy. But painting isn't usually about getting everything perfect immediately. That's a roll of the dice and you rarely win. It's about slowly correcting and refining chaos. Fixing happy accidents is like 80% of it, as I said. There is an emotional difficulty with the ugly phase. This is the point where I get discouraged more than I like to admit. It's true. I mean, I'll look at a piece halfway through and genuinely think, "Oh, this ain't gonna work," because it's horrendous. Sometimes I even want to abandon it entirely. I mean, the ugly phase creates doubt because your vision exists in your head, but not yet on the canvas. I mean, that's an obvious one, but you're stuck between what the piece currently is and what you hope it becomes. But the better you get as an artist, hope has nothing to do with it. Because you have the ability to fix happy accidents and you have the skill to put whatever on canvas that you want to. Do the planets align or misalign sometimes and things just go wrong and the painting is screwed? Yes. But that becomes less a thing. I mean, some of the best work starts off horrible, at least in my experience. Some of the paintings that I consider my best had just almost painting ending problems. Ironically, a lot of the paintings I almost gave up on become some of my favorites. I mean, some pieces need time to reveal themselves. Like a rough beginning does not predict a weak ending. It just doesn't. Sometimes the paintings with the most tension early on end up having the most emotional depth later. And I don't know if you've seen this in your art, but I've definitely seen it in mine. If I had stopped too early, I never would have seen what they were becoming or what they ended up, what they ended up as. And while I'm talking here, I'm going to pull up a painting that was in, and artists, painters especially, musicians a little bit, you guys will definitely relate to the ugly face. Because it seems like every piece of art has the ugly face, something that's not quite mixed yet, or it hasn't gone to mastering, or you haven't done the background vocals yet, or you haven't done any panning. Yeah, even musicians will know too. But I'm going to show you the painting. Let's see, how do I don't mess with OBS very much. Okay, overlay an image. I'm going to show you guys the painting of mine that had the longest ugly face. I mean, this thing was ugly for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I almost gave up on it because I hated how it looked. I thought, oh, this painting is going to fail. Why even continue with it? I mean, it looked really bad for a long time. So this one right here. This painting was the painting of mine that I would say had the longest ugly phase. Because if you look at the musculature of the body, I mean, that's not easy stuff to pull off. And his head just sitting, I knew it was going to be, the shadows of his hair, and there was going to be very deep shadowed kind of stuff. I knew that His face was going to be floating in nothing, for a while. The clouds took multiple layers behind him. This painting looked ugly for a long time. And if I'd given up on it, we wouldn't have this. I mean, I'm super proud of this painting. Anatomically, composition wise, color, use of value is probably the best painting I've ever done. And if I gave up on it during the ugly phase, I almost did, man. I almost did. I wouldn't have it. I mean, sometimes the paintings with, well, let me put it this way. I mean, life has ugly phases too, right? I honestly think life works the same way. And maybe that's where the not wanting to give up stuff comes from, because that's my life in a nutshell. People go through periods where everything feels unfinished, uncertain, messy, emotionally confusing. But we push through those times. Growth does not look graceful ever while it's happening. It does not. It's messy. It's uneven. It's gross. And it's full of tension and heartbreak and difficulty. But you look back on it and you're like, man, I grew a lot during that. I mean, a lot of meaningful change feels uncomfortable before it feels rewarding. And that's a guarantee. The danger is assuming the current phase is the final result. You dig? And I think a lot of people quit during these temporary ugly phases in life. Myself included, I've done it a lot. I mistake discomfort for failure. And it has happened a lot, but sometimes discomfort is evidence that transformation is happening. And it's really hard to practice what I preach, because me trying to be a full-time artist and being kind of in between that and like almost right on the edge of it, being scared of the camera and wearing sunglasses to combat my fear of the camera and putting myself in very uncomfortable positions because I look like a total douchebag. But it's only because I'm afraid of the camera, and this helps me. I got it from a person that I know that suffers from severe anxiety. I was like, I want to start a YouTube channel. I really want to get this going, but I freak out when I'm in front of the camera. She goes, well, do what I do when I go shopping or anything like that. Just wear really dark sunglasses. I'm like, I'm going to look like a complete douche, but okay. But, when you're stretching beyond the version of yourself that you used to be, that's why it sucks. And that's why it hurts and feels weird and uncomfortable. And that process can feel incredibly unstable before it finally settles into something stronger. And I feel that big time. Transitioning into a full-time artist and being right on the edge of that, especially being, doing it before with an artistic venture of mine, getting out of the 9 to 5 for good. And I'm back in the 9 to 5 because I didn't appreciate it, and I was young and stupid and couldn't maintain it. Now that I'm old and wiser, we're going to do it again. But it takes a long time, and it's easy to get discouraged. It's easy to give up, and it's easy to not see things. You don't see results. You don't really see things move. And I mean, this literally is how it works. You work for years and years and years, and then one day you wake up and it's there. That's how it is, because I've seen it before. Yeah, it's really tough. I think painting has taught me patience in ways I didn't really expect. And I hate going to work. I absolutely hate working for other people. I see a paycheck as blood money. I'm trading time, precious time, the most precious thing I have, and that's what they want. And you apply for these jobs and you go out there and enter the workforce, and it seems like they're demanding more and more of it. On-call hours, more hours. You have to, yeah, you know what I mean? The company car stuff, they just demand more from you. May work overtime, and then you find out overtime is all the time. And they're demanding more of your time. You're getting less and less and less for yourself and your family. I never liked that. People growing up, especially the boomer generation, would say, "Oh, you're lazy. You just don't want to work." Like, no. My generation was the first to look into the soul of the internet, and you know what we saw? Dollar signs. But I believed it for a long time that, oh, maybe I am weird. Maybe I am just being lazy. What's wrong with me? Entered the workforce, hated it, got out. And we'll do it again. This time, we'll keep it that way. But it did. Painting taught me a patience that I think I needed in my life. You learn that, and it's very applicable to life. That's why I always recommend, if you're having a hard time or going through something, start painting. Because what painting does for you, writing books to a certain degree is like this too, but I've noticed this with every art. It has an ugly phase. You learn that every problem needs, well, let's say it this way. You learn that every problem doesn't need a dramatic reaction. Sometimes a piece simply needs another layer, another adjustment, another day. And I think the reason why art's like that is because life is like that. It's not a coincidence. Things were designed this way. Creative work often rewards persistence more than emotional panic. The same is true for personal growth. Absolutely. You need to trust the process without romanticizing it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to pretend that the ugly phase is fun, because it's not. It sucks. And it's really boring, and I hate painting backgrounds. I like the second layer of backgrounds, but I hate underpainting backgrounds. It's like, oh, yay, I get to paint a wall today. It's not fun. It sucks. I want to paint the subject. I want to paint the ficus in the corner or the light coming through the window. And the ugly phase is boring. I don't like it. It sucks. But, oh man, once you get past that's my favorite part. When you get past the underpainting and you start doing the layering bits, oh, that's my favorite. Because that's when a painting really starts coming out. But I get it. It's frustrating. It's discouraging, and it's mentally exhausting sometimes. I've been painting my butt off today. Do I want to paint today? No. I don't feel motivated. I don't feel inspired. But we need to show up, and we need to effing paint. Because we're getting out, and it's worth leaving the 9 to 5 over. Show up. I don't feel like painting today. I just don't feel inspired. I don't feel motivated. But we got a painting that needs done, kids. And this is where I'll rely on my skill. What little skill that I have. There are moments where you genuinely question your ability, like the painting that I'm doing right now. And it's so hard not to say, I don't know about this one. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Why, Billy? Because it's not done. You'll find out if it's a sucky painting when it's done. I mean, not because confidence is always there, but because you learn to keep moving without it. Learn how to move when your confidence is not at level 10 today. And here's a nifty trick that I do. If a painting doesn't work out, especially a painting, if it doesn't work out, but you do have something there that could be fixed digitally, do it. Sell it as a print exclusive. I did that actually with my last painting. It sucked as an original, but I took it into Photoshop and did some things and blurred some things and added some movement and some light and some digital things in there, and it looked awesome. Is it a cop-out? No, because it's a finished piece of work and I've been selling them. You know? It's just the painting, the original looked like balls, and digitally, sometimes, if you mess with it digitally, you can make a killer looking print. Don't use that as an excuse every time, though. Try to make the best painting that you can. Like an album. I've cut whole albums before, and then I go back and listen to it, and I'm like, I'm an all killer, no filler guy. I will not release an album unless every song is awesome. And if I feel like there is some filler in there, then we get rid of that, and I just release singles. There's a way to roll with it. I think learning to continue through uncertainty is part of becoming an artist. Not because, like I said, not because confidence is always there, but you have to learn to keep moving when it's not there. Sometimes the imperfection that appears during that ugly phase actually gives the work some damn character. And I have worked with another musician, thank God I don't work with him anymore, that is all about perfection. Everything needs to be perfect. If one little squeak happens, or one little this, or one little that, why? If it's not song breaking, you're sucking the humanity right out of it. There's some humanity in these little weird tiny accidents, texture shifts, weird edges, things that can make a painting feel alive. We're not chasing perfection, we're chasing art. And if you think art is perfection, go somewhere else. It's the farthest thing from it. If everything is over controlled, the work can lose emotional energy. I mean, I think I really like something that Da Vinci said. He said, a piece of art is never finished, just quietly abandoned. But I actually do not agree with Da Vinci at all. I'm sorry, Da Vinci, I do not agree with you, even though you were a master. And it seems right to agree with everything a master said, but I couldn't disagree more. Because to us mere normal mortals who aren't Da Vinci, we do run the risk of overworking a piece of art. It is totally possible. Completely overworking it and killing the original intensity and intention. I know Da Vinci wasn't human. That's why he said that. Because he could work on a piece of art over and over and layer and layer and layer and just keep mess with it for decades, and it still looks awesome. The rest of us, sorry, doesn't work that way. Overworking is a thing. But a little unpredictability, I think, creates humanity in a piece of work. Lean into that. The painting becomes more than an image. It becomes evidence of a process, but most important, evidence of a person. So I think, at the end of it, I think one of the most dangerous things people do is judge unfinished things too early. Unfinished paintings do look strange. But you know something? Unfinished people do too. And they're worth sticking around for. Becoming something meaningful usually involves surviving periods where you can't yet see the final shape. I need to remind myself of this, and I need to tell you this. The ugly phase is not proof that you failed. It's proof that you're still building. It's proof that you're working. And whether the painting fails or succeeds, that's really all that matters. But those are my thoughts for the day. Thoughts for the day, the week, however long it takes to pump out another video. Subscribers are going up. And once again, guys, I probably shouldn't apologize for this, but I am sorry for the sunglasses and looking like I ate early 2000s M shadows, but I am absolutely petrified of this camera, and it really does help. And if you knew me personally, I do wear sunglasses like 24/7. I don't feel me without it. But I appreciate everybody that keeps subscribing. I appreciate everybody that keeps heading to the website and checking out my art. It means a lot. This YouTube channel is becoming something. I don't know really what it's doing just yet, but I do see growth, and that's really, really cool. So thanks for showing up. I hope you continue to. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time, okay? Okay, look, what? I'll take off my sunglasses at the end of the video, okay? So I can show you my negative Canthal tilt sloth eyes. There you go. Face. All right. Bye, guys.